roar seems to be echoing across Aero India. Moving on, let's take a closer look at a radar system that is completely made in India, and in fact, the motto of its makers is taking Make in India to the world. Indigenous advanced radars.
During Aero India 2015, you launched 4 radars. Can you take us through these 4 radars? What sort are they? And well, it's nice to know that they're all made in India.
Yeah, it's a privilege for us that we have taken this opportunity to globally launch 4 systems during the show. I'll take you around and give you a little bit explanation of that. The first one is the bird detection and monitoring radar system, what you see over here. Now, this is a first system which has been designed, which is true 3D radar. Actually,
you're talking about this radar here.
We are talking about this radar. This basically talks about, gives you the 3 data of the bird, you know, which are there for the air safety, which in terms of tells you basically the bearing, the azimuth, and the range, and the height of the bird. Okay, and now this particular can be used for the information can be given to the ATist, can give it to the pilot, and then you can have possible collision which could take place from the bird. That could be avoided on this. Right. Now we use a very high-end technology on this, and this is a fully solid-state radar, and this is completely done here, and which is in line with the thinking of the Prime Minister of the country.
Right. So basically what you're trying to say is that this particular radar that we see right over here can be utilized in various air bases and airports spread all across the country.
That's right. It can be used both for the civilian as well as for the Air Force bases. All airports it can be used. And in fact, the application of this can be also in the wind farms and other things, where, you know, those which are required from the as part of the environmental regulations.
Awesome. And not just that, they have another radar known as the bird deterrent system. Now, if I'm right, will this bird deterrent system work in conjunction with the 3D bird detection and monitoring radar?
Yeah, that's right. Actually, the next logical step is not only to know the coordinates of the bird, or, you know, where exactly they are there in the space, but it is also important that, you know, we are taking it away from the approaching or departing aircraft. So there is a deterrent system which is both the acoustics as well as the laser. The lasers are effective more in the night time. Okay. The acoustics are in the daytime, you can use it. And these are very high directional devices where the sound will be heard only very close to the vicinity of the bird. And the airport staff, you know, they are not disturbed in this process.
Is it dangerous? Because, you know, when you talk about bird deterrent system, now we have seen during Aero India, they keep firing some rockets in the air. I'm not too sure what it is, and it makes this sound. Now, many people would want to know, especially those who are nature lovers, will this affect the birds? Will it harm the birds?
No, they are completely environmentally friendly, because it also has some of the pre-recorded sounds which can be, you know, used in that particular application. It only takes them in a very friendly manner, takes them away from the path of this.
All right, so that was the bird deterrent system. Now there's something very interesting. It's known as the foliage penetration minefield ID and dismount detection radar system. It's fantastic. Now we must remember that India is utilizing a lot of unmanned aerial vehicles for detection surveillance purposes, especially to keep our borders secure and also to track the movement of Naxals. How will this particular radar help the armed forces?
See, this is a system which can be mounted either on a UAV or on a flying the aircraft and all that. Now you see, seeing through the foliage is one of the very complex things. So this particular radar can see the hidden objects which are underneath the foliage. Okay. Let's say the Maoist with a certain amount of ammunition what they are carrying, or there is a gun factory or something like that. Now these kind of images are taken by the radar, and then there is a image processing algorithms which are there in the aircraft, and these the data is basically transmitted onto the ground, and based on that information then you can take the countermeasure or take the corrective actions.
Alright, so basically you're saying that if it is placed on an unmanned aerial vehicle, I also see that you can find out if there are improvised explosive devices. Would that be fixed onto a vehicle or also to a unmanned aerial vehicle?
No, this another very specific feature for this system is it can also detect the mines which are underground, say up to about a meter or something like that, which means if certain things, and it is a very fast scanning, that means the aircraft is flying, scanning that particular area, and the images are taken, and those images are utilized for the purpose of finding out the buried mines and all that.
Fantastic. And have the armed forces evinced interest in this particular system, because this is the need of the hour for all of them, for the CISF, for the CRPF especially?
Yeah, I agree with you. In fact, the technology for such systems is not available in many countries. There are only 2 countries outside India where it has got. And since the government of India wanted certain systems like this to be developed, we put our efforts in that direction.
Fantastic. I mean, it's really fantastic. And finally, we have something here known as the ground surveillance radar. Now, if I am right, this is basically used by the border security forces in order to keep track of who's approaching the border. It can be man, standing, crawling, or also a vehicle, right?
That's right. In fact, this is a system which is, first of all, not on a azimuthal rotation. It's a very totally electronically scanned system, which makes it very reliable. It's a solid state. And then this can be used for the detection of a crawling man. That means you can find the application even in the aircraft, the airports, or some of the vital assets which are through a perimeter, protection of these assets. Another important thing is that this particular, you can have the sector scan, or you can have the complete 360-degree scan, depending upon what configuration you are choosing in this.
All right. How easy is it for the soldiers to carry it? I mean, how many people does it require to carry the entire system?
It's a completely man-portable system, which means a man can carry it on the back and then deploy it at a very quick notice time period. And even the display of this could be about 100 meters away from there. That means you can put the radar in a place and the display could be seen at a little far off distance.
Fantastic. And finally, we see another radar over there. So what exactly is that we are looking at?
This is a radar for the UAV detection and also for the air surveillance. The unique feature of this is that it can be used for mini, micro and the fighter aircrafts. Now, and with the change of the switch, you can convert from the UAV detection to the air surveillance mode. And this particular radar again uses some of the very sophisticated techniques like frequency agility, pulse compression and all those kind of features. It's a solid state system and the range of a UAV for 0.1 square meter is something like about 20 kilometers. And for 2 square meter it's about 60 kilometers.
Day 4 was really a spectacle, especially because of the record number